Welcome to Celestial Insights, a weekly podcast that brings the stars down to earth. I'm your host, astrologer, coach, and intuitive Celeste Brooks. My purpose is to provide practical, unique, and insightful guidance to help you navigate the energies of the week like a boss. Hello, this is Celeste of Astrology by Celeste, and on this episode, I will discuss the astrology for the week of December 29th, 2024. There is still time to join today's New Moon workshop where we'll discuss the Capricorn New Moon, how it may show up in your life, and I will do as many hot take chart readings as I can. This is the last one for a while as I am updating my offerings in 2025 and taking a little downtime to reflect, reimagine, and reconnect with the soul of my business. You can sign up at the link in the show notes or go to astrologybyceleste.com and you can sign up there. And if you miss it, you can get the recording. First, let's take a look back at some astrology in action. So right now, Mars, the planet of action, drive, and assertion, is retrograde in the sign of Leo. And it's retrograde until February 23rd. So this is a long journey where Mars is careening backwards through the zodiac. And what retrogrades do is they pull back the tape so we can see what is beneath. Leo rules things like performers and entertainment. So Hollywood actors are very representative of Leo energy, and Mars attacks. And Blake Lively has filed a lawsuit against Jason Baldoni, I think is his name. He was her co-star as well as the producer about a movie she starred in about domestic violence. Domestic violence is a Mars retrograde topic. You know, violence that is very destructive and there's a lot of conflict. Retrogrades are an affliction. She accuses him of sexual harassment, of fostering a toxic workplace environment, and orchestrating a smear campaign to tarnish her image. So this lawsuit was filed on a Friday, which was the last day of Sagittarius season. And then it started making big news Sunday, Monday, when the sun was in Capricorn. Capricorn rules workplaces, and the moon was in Libra. Libra has to do with legal affairs as well as one's reputation. So her reputation took some big hits with this coordinated campaign between publicists and all sorts of other people. This complex web is what is alleged. Many people are coming to her defense, as well as this Justin person has been dropped by his representatives. So this is some big news. It dropped like a bomb in Hollywood. Another Mars retrograde story that's tragic is about the doctor who drove his car through a Christmas market in Germany. So a terrorist attack based on his ideology. He's very right wing. So you can think about how Mars attacks, and Leo can be a very dramatic fashion, and with Mercury in Sagittarius, and when Mercury went direct, it was in a trine with Mars retrograde. So Mercury rules our thought processes. He was hateful, angry, and he attacked this group of people using his car to cause a lot of damage. I'm recording this on Christmas Day, and yesterday we had Jupiter in Gemini square Saturn in Pisces. This is a major aspect where the social planets are in a tense square. So there's some conflict. And you can think about, there were so many stories, but the ones that were most dramatic, Jupiter rules long distance travel, Gemini transportation, square Saturn. You can think about delays or endings or problems, hardship. On Christmas Eve, American Airlines had a ground stoppage of all of its flights due to some technical issue. There was also a massive cargo ship, so Jupiter and Gemini, a massive transportation vessel that's carrying a lot of wealth. Jupiter is associated with wealth, tipped over on its side on the pier. The load was distributed in an uneven way. Mercury is in Sagittarius. Perhaps something happened when Mercury was retrograde where a decision, a measurement, a something was off, and it resulted, now Mercury's direct, but that the ship turned on its side. It caused a lot of damage. I'm unaware if anyone was hurt, but this is a story also aligned with this energy. And on Christmas Day, there was a plane crash in Kazakhstan where many people died, but there were also some survivors. It's no surprise that Christmas with the moon in Scorpio, that there would be something about death or power struggles that would be focusing the attention of many people. Also, Pisces rules the ocean and problems, Saturn and Pisces, related to water. And Jupiter makes everything bigger. Gemini is an air sign. Air is associated with the winds. And Mercury is activating this Jupiter-Saturn square. Mercury is opposite Jupiter and Mercury square Saturn. And yeah, so there's these massive waves on the west coast of the United States. The pier in Santa Cruz was destroyed by some waves. So that's a structure, Saturn in Pisces in the water, that had this big collapse, Jupiter square Saturn. The waves were so massive that people were told in California to not go to the beach. Of course, the surfers who surf the Mavericks are ecstatic about the big waves. One person's trash is another one's treasure, and there's very dynamic pictures of people surfing these amazing big waves in that the Mavericks is some kind of competition or something that happens every year around this time in California. Also, Donald Trump is revealing some of the actions he plans to initiate when he becomes president. So Mars retrograde, pulling the tape back on things and showing us what's underneath that we weren't aware of. And apparently he has a problem with Panama and the Panama Canal and the fees that they charge the United States. And he's threatening to take it back. Massive amounts of cargo is moved by ship through this canal. And there may be more talk about this next year. He's also talked again about wanting to acquire Greenland from Denmark. He also keeps calling Canada the 51st state, which is so inappropriate. So there's a lot of upheaval in diplomatic relationships. The last quarter moon at 1 Libra, Jupiter and Gemini talking about foreign countries. Jupiter has associations with long distance travel, foreign lands, square Saturn and Pisces, bringing some hardship to them. Saturn also rules rejection. Both Denmark said you're not taking Greenland. The Panama president said the canal is non-negotiable. So these statements were rejected. Now Mars is retrograde. It's unlikely that these actions will bring anything to fruition, and it's just causing unnecessary upheaval. We'll see. Is the United States going to go to battle over Canada, Greenland, the Panama Canal? Saturn in Aries could be the draft, but I don't think so. I certainly hope not. Your cosmic advantage begins with the Wise Skies digital calendar. With descriptions for every planetary and lunar event, all levels of astrology enthusiasts can enjoy the calendar on any device and now in many languages. With this superpower in your back pocket, you will be fully equipped to understand the astrological weather any day of the week. My good friend and collaborator, Tiffany Herlick, creates this calendar every year and I use it daily. I highly recommend it. Use my coupon code for $10 off. The code is ABC2024 or ABC2025, depending on the year. Let the universe have your back with the Wise Skies digital astrology calendar. The theme of this week is a heartbeat away, and there are three big things I want you to think about as we navigate this week. The first is that Chiron, the wounded healer, is going to station to go direct at 19 degrees of Aries. Chiron was a healer as well as a teacher, and when it's activated, what can often happen is there is an event or something psychological that feels like it's something that's hard to deal with and it's hurtful, but in the long run, it's very healing. Chiron is designated as many things. It's an ice giant, it's an asteroid, it's a centaur, it's a minor planet, I've heard it described as. It's between Saturn, which is the farthest planet we can see with the naked eye. You can think about how Saturn's reality, limits, boundaries. Saturn has associations with conservatism and traditions. And then Uranus, we can't see it with the naked eye. Uranus is the great awakener, the change maker. It takes the structures that we have, sees what they're lacking, and wants to break them and make them different. So Chiron's the rainbow bridge between Saturn and Uranus. And on April 8th of this year, it was conjunct at this degree, 19 Aries, the sun and the moon at the solar eclipse. So something that we couldn't see back then, we may be able to see now as it goes direct. Chiron 5 days before and 5 days after, whenever a planet or anything changes directions, that's when the energy is most intense. Now, Aries is a sign that is associated with conflict, courage, violence, soldiers. So we may be seeing these things. Aries in medical astrology, it rules the head, the eyes, the nose, all of that stuff on your head. So notice if you see stories, Chiron in Aries, like a firefighter running into a burning building and rescuing someone, but, he or she has damage to their outfit that they're wearing, damage to their suit. Yes. Now, Aries is ruled by Mars, and Mars is retrograde in Leo. So I think with Chiron stationing direct, we'll be seeing an increase in some kind of conflict, likely on places where there's wars going on, but we'll see what else we see. Now, retrograde in Leo. Leo has associations with the heart, and Mars rules surgery. So this could be like, say someone had a heart attack and they're in the hospital. How you can translate this into English, this energy could be like someone's getting heart surgery, and the statement is the surgery is taking forever because retrograde slow things down and delay things. And Chiron associated with doctors. Maybe someone is like frustrated with a doctor about the length of time the surgery is taking. And yeah, especially with that Jupiter square Saturn. Or they're talking about this in the past with Mars retrograde, that this is something that happened. It's really interesting. Jeff Bezos is thought to have a 19-degree Aries rising ascendant, and he's supposed to be getting married this weekend. If we hear about their vows, I mean, they love to show off. Notice if their vows have to do with a lot about how their relationship has healed them. There is going to be a lot of arrows flying towards them, potentially. Supposedly, this wedding costs $600 million, which makes no sense to me, but how that's even possible. But it's going to likely be very opulent, over the top, let them eat cake. We are in Pluto in Aquarius, and the people struggling to pay their bills are not going to appreciate seeing this ridiculous, lavish display. $600 million by investing in things that will make a difference for people rather than just showing off at this big party. There may be a lot about him in the news about all of the hardship Amazon causes their employees with the harsh treatment of them, especially since a lot of Amazon workers are on strike. But we'll see how this shows up in the news. Some of it will be, unfortunately, likely difficult stories where there's an uptick in violence, but it's also a beautiful opportunity to really think about how you've healed some of those childhood wounds. They never fully go away, but you have the opportunity to take what you've learned and help heal others. That's the high octave of this chironic energy. The next thing I want to make you aware of is that we have a new moon at 9 degrees of Capricorn on Monday. Capricorn is a sign of discipline, ambition, and structure. Great time to set your goals, to plan any long-term strategies. Focus on your legacy, your career, your professional development. If you don't have a job, like what kind of impact are you making in your community or your family or the world? Just great time to get more disciplined. I wonder if there'll be a news or an announcement from Taylor Swift over the next couple of weeks, because her Mercury is right near that 9 Capricorn, and it's in a trine with her midheaven and her rectified chart. So we'll see if there's any, wonder if she's getting engaged for Christmas. That could be something that comes up, or something about her career could be announced. This new moon is sextile Saturn, which is good. Saturn brings some structure, but it's really intense. Mars retrograde is opposite Pluto in Aquarius, and it's a really tight opposition. Pluto is a higher octave of Mars. Pluto rules volcanoes, and we're seeing this energy visually in Hawaii with this eruption of a volcano, which is making a very dramatic, a Leo word, display. It's like the lava is violently shooting out of the earth, out of the volcano. We're also, there's a lot of intensity with what people are saying. The new moon is the conjunct the fixed star Pisces, which is a star of poor eyesight. So really notice with Chiron going direct the day before the new moon, and the new moon conjunct a fixed star of poor eyesight, there could be a lot of conversations in the news dealing with the eyes. I recently saw something about how Ozempic, that weight loss drug, it's actually meant for people with diabetes, but how it can cause blindness in some people. So that could be a story that gets bigger news as the year 2025 goes on. the moon phase family for this cycle, which is a 27-month cycle where you may experience a pivot point every 9 months around the same topic if your chart is activated, meaning you have something around 9 degrees of Capricorn, a planet, an angle, a node. The new moon is tomorrow on December 30th, where the sun and the moon are both at 9 Capricorn. The first quarter moon will be September 29th of 2025, where the sun is in Libra and the moon is in Capricorn. They're both at 7 degrees. If you set intentions now and work on them, take the time to work on them and move them forward persistently, you could have some big success around September because that's eclipse season where you can make a big splash. 9 months after that, the full moon where the sun is in Cancer and the moon is in Capricorn are both at 8 degrees on June 29th, 2026. And the last quarter moon where the sun is in Aries and the moon is in Capricorn on March 29th, 2027. So you can use these dates to set objectives with big projects. Now, keep in mind at this new moon, Mars is retrograde. So we don't want to go charging out of the gate. We want to take actions that are systematic over time, understanding that the energy is a bit topsy-turvy with Mars retrograde, where there could be reversals and delays and the collapse of something contemplated. So keep that in mind as you are setting your intentions. Come to the workshop to learn more about this new moon. The sun and the moon are both at 9 degrees of Capricorn. The tarot correspondence is the Two of Pentacles, which is a card of adaptability and prioritization. It's the juggler who is juggling, balls. Now, if you add too many of them, especially with Mars retrograde, the balls are going to start dropping. The Sabian symbol for this degree is an albatross feeding off the hand of a sailor. An albatross is a huge bird that has a big wingspan. So you can think about how you can hide underneath that big wingspan, but it's also associated with a burden from the Rime of the Ancient Mariner, that famous poem. And there's themes of, the thing I got when I saw this Sabian symbol is, Elon Musk in large part got Donald Trump elected to the presidency. He spent over $200 million in order to do so. And he is being called the president and Donald Trump the vice president. One of the things that is astrology in action, the House of Representatives had come together for a bipartisan spending bill, and Elon Musk said that anyone who signs this bill from the Republican side was going to be primaried by him. He was going to invest in their opponents. So he is now an albatross around Donald Trump's neck as well as the Congress's neck. So they scraped the bill and started over. Now they wound up not letting the government shut down, but the thing that he really wanted in this bill apparently was that he wanted taken out some provisions about China and limitations for national security about something about export-import with China, and it was taken out of the bill. And then Donald Trump said something about they needed to raise the debt ceiling. Well, they didn't raise the debt ceiling. What was removed from the bill was medical research for children with cancer, funding for this, as well as for the firefighters who sustained physical injuries, part of their health care funding from 9/11. So the 9/11 Firemen's Fund took some kind of hit. So we're seeing already how the leopard is going to eat the face of the people with the new administration A lot of it will be enriching, making the rich richer and taking away from the people in order to do so. And people are very angry. You can think about how Jupiter in Gemini, Jupiter adds to life. These things that add to life were removed from the bill, square Saturn in Pisces, so that the world's richest man can protect his assets. Now, this talk is getting under Donald Trump's skin about him being the vice president. He says, no, he's not the vice president. He's the president. We'll see this conflict, this albatross around his neck that he has from making this deal with Elon Musk. And we'll see what happens after the inauguration. But we'll see. There could be a lot of conflict in this relationship. The last thing I want to make you aware of is that Venus will enter the sign of Pisces from January 2nd to February 3rd. This is the sign of Venus's exaltation, where she is lifted up, enhanced, and able to manifest the best characteristics of the planet in the sign. It's a complementary state of power. Now, Venus in Pisces is associated with romantic idealism, unconditional love. Venus is the planet of love, beauty, and harmony. And in Pisces, oh, she loves so good. It shows compassion and empathy, is creative with artistic expression, dreamy and spiritual love. But there's also this nature of rose-colored glasses and not seeing things as they actually are, but as you'd like them to be. Some Venus and Pisces figures are people who marry into wealth, like you're lifted up by, you're exalted by like the partner that you have, or into royalty. Last time Venus entered Pisces, Queen Reina was making news on that day. A queen is a Venus and Pisces type figure. Last time when Venus in Pisces met Saturn in Pisces, we found out that Kate Middleton, who is a Venus and Pisces type figure, she was exalted through her marriage to royalty as well. She had Saturn in Pisces. She had Cancer. So we'll notice what we're seeing throughout this transit. I think it could have something to do with the music industry. Pisces rules music. Is a female singer, a married couple, the spouse of someone famous, going to be in the news around this? Or this could be when Taylor Swift announces, oh, I'm getting married, or something like that. It could be a positive. It doesn't have to be Taylor Swift. It could be any kind of Venus and Pisces type figure announcing something about fertility, money, relationships, art, culture. These are all themes associated with this energy. This is a great time to do some displays of kindness and love and generosity for others. Yeah, a beautiful way to use this energy could be to write little love notes to your partner and leave them, in their lunchbox or drawer, or places where they could see it. And like, one could be a sonnet, one could be a haiku. Like, you can get really creative with this energy. Or with your kids, like put a little haiku in your kid's lunchbox about how much you love them. That could be really lovely. If you are embarking on a new journey, experiencing a major life event, feeling stuck, trying to make a difficult decision, or just looking to make positive changes, astrology can provide life-changing insights. There are several ways to work with me. You can come for a 60 or 90-minute astrology consultation depending on your needs. Engage in longer-term cosmic success coaching, where we work together on a 3-month basis to help you overcome blocks, improve your life satisfaction, build better relationships, accomplish your career goals, and understand yourself better using the tool of astrology. or mystic mentoring if you're an aspiring astrologer and want help with chart analysis techniques. Go to astrologybyceleste.com to check out my offerings. If you have any questions, you can email me at celeste@astrologybyceleste.com. On Sunday, the word of the day is steady. And I get this energy of holding things steady. The moon enters the sign of Capricorn at 8:37 p.m. Pacific time. Capricorn is an earth sign and it's cardinal initiating. So you may start a project and the moon is squaring the nodes after it goes into Capricorn. So the south node's in Libra and the north node's in Aries. How this could show up is that a couple is putting together maybe a toy for their child, a Christmas toy for their child. And it's frustrating. There's a lot of pieces. With Mars retrograde, you're getting a little irritated. And South Node in Libra, it's harder to just be nice, get along, work together, say kind things. It's much easier to North Node in Aries, which is get frustrated and maybe hold it steady, hold it steady. You know, there's this kind of energy with this. And Chiron stations direct at 19 Aries on this day. And someone could say something to their partner that's hurtful, or something could fly off and hit someone in the eye or something like that. So keep that in mind, that this is a day where people could get pretty frustrated when they're trying to like do something intricate. So just take a breath and hold it steady. On Monday, the word of the day is Archer. This is the day we have the new moon at 9 degrees of Capricorn at 2:26 p.m. Great time to set your intentions about what you want to grow in a way that's sustainable, steady, and purposeful. Pluto will sextile the North Node. Pluto in Aquarius and the North Node in Aries, both at 1 degrees of their respective signs. You may have an opportunity to partner with someone powerful or influential that can help you with your goals during this lunation. Mercury in Sagittarius is trine Chiron in Aries. They're both at 19 degrees. This is kind of like bullseye energy, so that's why the word of the day is Archer. Now, be careful about fire and knives on this day. We're being careful constantly and paying attention with Mars retrograde, because there's just easy energy to have like a cut or something like that. But notice Mercury in Sagittarius. Notice if someone is bloviating or talking passionately, and they use like call to battle imagery, like that Archer imagery, that could be coming up on this day. On Tuesday, the word of the day is lull. There's not a lot going on in the sky. We're in the new moon phase. It's a dark phase, and it's really a time to go within. Use this energy maybe to have some downtime. I don't think it's the best time to go out for New Year's Eve if you don't already have plans. And if you do have plans, I would avoid big groups. With Mars retrograde in Leo opposite Pluto in Aquarius, that's really intense energy where people can just start shoving each other and fighting each other in a crowd. And yeah, I don't like that energy for New Year's Eve that we have. I suggest you stay home, sing your baby lullabies. On Wednesday, the word of the day is brainstorm. The moon will enter Aquarius at 2:49 a.m. Pacific time. Happy New Year 2025 is here. It's a great time to think about, maybe getting together with friends. Do you want to collaborate with a group or join a cause? You can brainstorm innovative ideas. How can you make life better for a bigger amount of people. Aquarius is about individuality and uniqueness. Maybe you want to connect with some like-minded people who share your view of the world. The moon will meet Pluto on this day, so people will be thinking about societal shifts, maybe breakthroughs into technology. You may be feeling like, ooh, I want to grow somewhere inwardly. You may have some heightened intuition. Notice how talks and ideas about community and freedom and equality pepper the news. On Thursday, the word of the day is HONEYTRAP. The song Pour Some Sugar on Me is in my head with this. On this day, the sun in Capricorn will quincunx Jupiter in Gemini, and they'll both be at 12 degrees. Quincunxes are adjusting energy. They move us in new situations where we have to release and let go of something. This is the 150-degree aspect. It's in our blind spot, but this allows us to build bridges. Bridges are Capricornian structures between different parts of our lives that could lead to growth. So you may understand something. The sun is focusing in on Capricorn, and you may understand something about your limited thinking that is a little bit on the pessimistic side, and maybe Jupiter, that quincunx to Jupiter in Gemini, you'll release some of that limited thinking and take a more expansionist view about what you can do in your own life. Now, there's going to be something about maybe leaders in the news where they're saying something. Yeah, we'll see how this shows up, especially because on this day, Venus enters Pisces at 7:23 p.m. Pacific time. There could be a leader talking about how they're going to pour some sugar on you, give you resources, make things better, that sort of thing. But there also could be, maybe it starts off beautiful, like Happy New Year, and then it turns into like some kind of attack with Mars retrograde opposite Pluto. It's intense energy. I wrote down, this energy feels like some Russian operation where they send a woman to, a honey trap to entrap one of their enemies, where they could either give them a poisonous drink or something like that, or just get information from them. Like Venus and Pisces can be this really, really, really beautiful woman, walks into a room, but Mars retrograde is opposite Pluto. Her intentions are not clear. She's really here to cause you some trouble. It's right out of a movie. On Friday, the word of the day is misaligned. We have 3 quincunxes. So this energy is really janky on this day, but it can lead to growth. We have a waxing crescent moon at 28 degrees of Aquarius at 4:33 a.m. Pacific time. I wonder if there'll be news that's important for the U.S. The moon of the United States is at 27 Aquarius, so maybe we'll become awakened to something new that we have to be concerned about, in addition to upcoming conflicts with Panama and Canada and Greenland. Let's hope not. But Venus in Pisces is quincunx the south node in Libra, and they're both at 0 degrees on this day. And then the moon enters Pisces at 7:21 a.m. Pacific time. Pisces energy is watery and mutable and emotional, and there's always a sense of something ending. Maybe an artist releases something. With the south node can be generous. Yeah, like maybe there's something about a generous gift, but there's something a little bit misaligned about it potentially, because Mercury in Sagittarius is quincunx Uranus and Taurus. They're both at 23 degrees. I wrote down an offer you can't refuse from The Godfather could be what comes up. So you met the whoever, the businessman met the honey trap yesterday, And now they've got all the pictures of you doing what you shouldn't have done. And now they give you an offer you can't refuse. With Venus and Pisces, quincunx, Mars retrograde. In Leo, they're both at 0 degrees. So now you realize it was in your blind spot, but now you realize, ooh, that lady didn't really just like that 25-year-old wasn't in love with your 60-year-old self. She was out to take action to get the goods on you. Now, we also may see some dramatic gestures of love and adoration with Venus and Pisces. Like, this can be a really rich person sending 100 flowers or 100 roses to their paramour and making a big display of it and showing it off on whatever, social media or what have you. Now, oh, how romantic. Well, what they did was they just had their secretary send it and then act like they put in some big effort into it. Or you can get like an overly syrupy compliment from someone that feels like a shiv, like they stuck you in the gut. Like, you're at a party, you're looking so beautiful, and someone says to you, wow, you're so brave, Mars in Leo, but Mars is retrograde, to wear that outfit at your size or something like that. The compliment in some way is an attack. On Saturday, the word of the day is irritation. The moon and Saturn meet at 14 degrees of Pisces. So why are people a little bit glum or irritated about something? It may just be a storm, or there's some difficult news. Maybe someone passed on who is a Venus and type person yesterday with that energy. The sun is in Capricorn, sextile Saturn and Pisces. They're both at 14 degrees. So there's going to be some story where the people are focused on a sun-type person, which is a leader or a famous person, some kind of luminary that's Capricornian. They could be elderly or a business leader or a government figure, or they could be facing some kind of consequences. You may just look over at your parent and notice, oh my God, they're so old. Or maybe you're looking at yourself and it was like, how did I get this old? I wrote down, an old person swims the French Channel. There could be something about a spotlight on the elderly, and there could be something about healthcare. And why I say swims the French Channel, because Mars is retrograde in Leo, trine the North Node in Aries. So there's this big feat. So it could be someone's passed away, an elderly person that years ago swam the French Channel or something like that. That's the energy of this, and it can show up in a lot of ways. So that's it for this week's episode. Feel free to email me at celeste@astrologybyceleste.com with any astrology and action stories, or let me know how the daily themes are playing out for you. Take care, and I'll catch you next week. Thank you for listening to Celestial Insights. To learn more about my work, please visit my website, astrologybyceleste.com, where I offer personal readings, horary consultations, cosmic coaching, group events, and classes to help guide people to higher levels of fulfillment. You can also find me on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook at Astrology by Celeste. If you enjoyed Celestial Insights, please help others find the show. Follow, rate it 5 stars, or write a nice review. I would so appreciate it. I'm astrologer, coach, and intuitive Celeste Brooks, and I'll be back next week.